Hi, my name is Jamal Abdullahi, and I'm going to cover everything you need to know about virtual private networks, or VPNs for short, for a cybersecurity course with Dr. Faisal Kaleem. Just as a disclaimer, this video is solely for educational purposes only, and I am not liable for any damages that could be caused using these demonstrations. In this presentation, I will be informing you on what a VPN is, how they work, the types of VPNs out there, and the protocols they use. Then we will look at the risks you face when you don't use a VPN and the benefits you gain from using a VPN. Lastly, we will take a look at the available VPNs out there, and I will demonstrate how to use a VPN. A virtual private network, or a VPN, is a private network that uses a public network, usually the internet, to connect remote sites or users together. The VPN uses virtual connections routed through the internet from the business's private network or a third-party VPN service to the remote site or person. VPNs help ensure security. Anyone intercepting the encrypted data cannot read it. Now, how does a VPN work? Imagine that the public network you are currently using, most commonly the internet, is a highway that allows servers and devices to send and receive information. Essentially, this information, called packets, is traveling along on this highway. As you may assume, these packets are typically visible to those looking at the highway, your ISP, a hacker, or malware. Now let's consider a virtual private network. We can imagine this to be a private tunnel. If we decide to use the private tunnel to send or receive information as opposed to using the public highway, then no one can view what that information is. On top of that, imagine that you are utilizing a courier to send and receive the packets in order to remain anonymous. That's essentially what using VPN's private servers are. These servers are the one through which information is sent and received from. You are never directly sending or receiving the information. That way, people think the information is being sent by and received at the VPN server, never your own device. To summarize, a VPN works by routing your device's internet connection through your chosen VPN server rather than your internet service provider, or ISP, so that when your data is transmitted to the internet, it comes from the VPN rather than your own computer. The reason why using a VPN ensures privacy and security is because your data is encrypted when you use a VPN. Essentially, the VPN encrypts your data or turns it into a bunch of gibberish on your device until it reaches the VPN's private server. There, it will use its special key, which only it knows, to decrypt the data. When I say decrypt the data, I mean it turns it back to normal, readable data. It is important to note that when you connect to a VPN, it creates that secure tunnel where your data is sent encrypted. Also, your device is now seen as being on the same local network as your VPN, so your IP address will actually be the IP address of one of your VPN provider's servers, therefore making it appear as if you are anywhere in the world that your VPN provider has a private server which you have chosen. There are two common types of VPNs, a remote access virtual private network or a site-to-site virtual private network. Let's take a closer look at each of these types, who uses them, what they provide, and when they are applicable. Remote access VPN can also be referred to as a virtual private dial-up network, or VPDN. It is also synonymous with the term VPN and is what is typically being referred to when discussing VPNs. This type of VPN is typically used in large companies because a remote access VPN allows individual users to establish secure connections with a remote computer network. Through this secure connection, the individual users can access the remote computer network's resources as if they were directly connected to the network's servers. Now you may be wondering, how does a remote access VPN work? Well, first the user connects to the network access server from the internet. It is necessary that the user signs in with valid credentials, which will then be authenticated in order to gain access to the remote computer network. In order to connect to the NAS, the user needs some sort of client software that is capable of creating and maintaining a connection to the VPN. The client software sets up the tunneled connection to the NAS and manages the encryption required to keep the connection secure. Now let's discuss site-to-site VPNs. A site-to-site VPN allows offices in multiple fixed locations to establish secure connections with each other over a public network such as the Internet. Site-to-site VPN extends the company's network, making computer resources from one location available to employees at other office locations. For example, a company with multiple locations worldwide would benefit from using this type of VPN. There are two types of site-to-site VPNs. They can either be intranet-based or extranet-based. Here's one example I found of why a company may use an intranet-based site-to-site VPN. If a company has one or more remote locations that they wish to join in a single private network, they can create an intranet VPN to connect each separate LAN to a single WAN. As for extranet-based, when a company has a close relationship with another company, such as a partner, supplier, or customer, it can build an extranet VPN that connects those companies' LANs. This extranet VPN allows the companies to work together in a secure, shared network environment while preventing access to their separate intranets. Earlier, we discussed what encryption is and how it is used to ensure privacy and security when using a VPN. Now let's discuss VPN protocols. VPN protocols represent the processes and sets of instructions VPN providers rely on in order to ensure VPN users get to enjoy stable, secure VPN client-server communications. Basically, a VPN protocol is a mix of transmission protocols and encryption standards. Let's take a look at some protocols that are listed in this table. PPTP stands for Point-to-Point Tunneling Protocol, and it's a VPN protocol that was developed by Microsoft in the 90s. Currently, it's quite popular for people who want to stream geo-restricted content due to its high speeds. Also, this VPN protocol is easy to configure and is already built into most platforms. Pretty much all VPN providers offer access to PPTP, but you should avoid providers who only offer PPTP because it barely offers any reliable security. In addition, PPTP can also be blocked by firewalls very easily. Next, let's look at L2TP IPsec. It's basically an extension of the PPTP protocol, with the main difference being that it uses double encapsulation. Although double encapsulation makes L2TP IPsec more secure, it also makes it slower than PPTP because traffic needs to first be converted into L2TP form, and afterwards you also have an extra layer of encryption added on top. Overall, the protocol is pretty secure, though it's worth mentioning that L2TP on its own provides no encryption, which is why it's always paired up with IPsec. Now let's look at IPsec. It's a secure network protocol suite that's used to encrypt data packets which are sent over an IP network. It is pretty popular as well due to its high level of security. However, it can be difficult to configure, thereby causing errors if the VPN provider is not well versed in utilizing it. There are many more VPN protocols that can be covered, and you can see a comparison between the key features in the table shown below.